Hello everyone. This is our CS 506 distributed cloud computing project. And in this project, we have developed an application which is database on the cloud server. I'm Sojal Ondari, and I will be starting the presentation. Okay, and these are our team members. Can we move to the next slide? Okay, talking about this presentation, these are the different contents which we'll be discussing. I will be starting with the project analysis and alternative solution analysis. Talking about the project analysis, there are different types of project analysis, which are process, budgetary, personal, risks, and client requirement analysis. I'll be discussing about the process analysis. And talking about our system model, these are the different components which you will find when using our application, that is the food sort. And in this application, you can create the account and from the user perspective, and from the admin perspective, you can add different food items and do the pricing and all the stuffs. Okay, coming to the next slide. Okay, for software development lifecycle, we have used agile methodology, which normally most of the software engineering perspective uses that. And for that, we have regularly gathered the data from all the team members and use everyone perspective on analyzing, designing, and different implementation parts. Next slide. Okay, so in this section, the major project analysis was done by one of our team members, which is Utrisha. And after that, once that has been done, we all worked on finding the functional and non-functional requirement. On the base of that, our application was developed. And since the requirement was to make the database on the cloud server, we have used AWS for that. And at the final, almost all the requirements was met, and which will be further discussed in the further presentation by my colleague. On to the next slide. Okay, so these are the user requirement, which are just the basic requirement, like the user must have a computer with the internet connection, and for this application, it can be easily be used by any operating system, but there should have at least a normal web browser. Coming to the next slide. Okay, so talking about the functional requirement, since this our this is a kind of a online shopping application, so it must have different tabs like registration, login, information, change requirement, and the menu, food menu, to choose the different food options and place it on the card. And like for that, we have the record of order details and different tabs like show order status and view order status. These are the functional requirement. Okay, talking about the non-functional requirement, this application is built by using the MongoDB database tool and Node.js as development tool, and the application has been developed by using React. Okay, and these are the other non-functional okay, these are the other non-functional requirement. Talking to the next slide. Okay, now coming to the objective, like I have already told that the main objective of our project is to develop a simple shopping website where any user can create an account, log in into that, buy products of its choice, and raise complaint. That's all. And finally, this application must be deployed in a cloud, for which we have used AWS. Come to the next slide. Okay, talking about the alternative solution analysis, like I've already told that we have used React for developing the application, but we can use any other tools like HTML and CSS, and similarly we can also use Azure or any Google Cloud options to load the server. Okay, now coming to the next slide. Okay, from further here, my colleague Arjun will continue the presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Sujal. Hi, Professor. Hi, all. In the project design section, what we planned is to have to implement a user interface, which we have to connect with the database, and the same is deployed into the cloud application. This is the basic scheme which we have followed, and for the UI design, we have the backend, front end, and API. For API calling, we have written few REST APIs, and hosting NGX for hosting and monitoring. Nginx is used, and cloud we have used EC2 AWS. And anyone can access the website, either the admin or user. Admin is having a few luxuries, like he can do some modifications, and user can only register to his prescribed user account only. And this is the home page which we initially designed. Like it is having few options like home, cart, order, notification, user login, and registration. And the main image will be displayed, and other images of like the products are there, and a search icon is there, and the admin support icon is there. And coming to this login page, we have created a login page to where the user can log in. Here the user name is name and password fields are there, and if it didn't match the passwords, and it will show when we click the login, it will show some error. And it will show from here we can go to forgot credential section, where where the user can again give his email and get his password to his email. And here from here he can register. Coming to the next one, this is the register page, where the user has to give first name, last name, address, email, number, and password. And here he can use the registration by using the registration button. And from here, this page on also he can go to his login page. And this is the admin support icon, the section where he can raise the complaint by using giving his email. And he can submit the admin support, where the admin can see what's the problem of that customer. And these are the additional UI design features, where the home page has given image slide over option, and the user login credentials page will be generate error message if any if anything is incomplete, and the error message will pop up when the invalid credentials are given. Error message will be displayed for invalid email format. These are the major software components used planned to use for developing these. And these are already discussed. Front end, back end, and cloud service, and the monitoring tool Nginx. And the project progress evaluation, we have continuously developed this project in parts, where everyone has contributed to their progress. And this is the progress bar. We tracked our project evaluation and all for from designing stage until testing and documentation stage. And these are the different tasks which we monitor over last 1 month. And we have noted down all the progress report and all. So that's how we finish the project. After while doing the project, we have gone through some severe few challenges and risks. We have faced issues with the validation part, where user giving the valid inputs, and encountered few issues while creating functionalities which connects the database, and faced issues while deploying the website and the hosting the website also. Those were solved. And these are the problem solutions we found. The functionalities which took a lot of time were unnecessarily, we eliminated those things. And the further testing was done, effective testing was done. And we hold group meetings for every 2 days, and to talk the progress and all. So that's how we implemented the parts. And next we'll discuss development part. Thank you.
Thank you, Arjun. My name is Krishna, and I'm taking over the development part. So we all did the analysis and gathered some requirement which is a must on an e-commerce website, and we planned on developing the features like that. So for the database development, Nirmal was there, and Nirmal sorted all of the database development, and he asked me to merge it with my application. So I did the UI part, and I did the connection between UI and the database part, and Nirmal did the database part. So moving on to the next slide. So this is the project structure for the API part, and the bottom screenshot is for the UI part. So this is just a project layout, and it shows the components and modules used. And next slide, please. So also, in order to check if the Nginx is running or not, we have shown the screenshot, because the Nginx hosts our UI files. And as you can see in the first screenshot, the Nginx is working properly, and it is serving our UI properly. And on the next slide, so this is the project structure for the React.js part. So this is the part for UI, and we can see there are different components used, like admin, cart, chart, complaint, dark mode toggle button, dashboard, delete profile, detail components, and so on and so forth. So these components that we can see on the website, they are here and they are on the code form. So moving on to the next slide. So this is some sample code of the React.js file, and it's for the product detail dashboard. And we can see the code. And by the way, this code is like every code is hosted on the Amazon AWS EC2 server. So we developed the application on the local first. We tested it out on the local, and then after the application was successful, it was deployed on the server, and we did some further testing on the server. Moving on to the next slide. So this is basically like checking if the website is up and running or not. So this is from the server itself. Like we can see the IP, like the local IP of the server 170.168.140. So we just like hitting the localhost 80 port, and we just getting the request from the Nginx server. So this is basically returned by the Nginx server. Next slide. So as I told earlier, the database is also hosted on cloud. And so we can see when we go to MongoDB database in the cloud, and when we see the databases, we can see fruit set database over here. And when we use the fruit set database and show the tables, we can see that different tables developed by Nirmal and different tables used by me in order to fetch data, update data, and like alter data. So we can see like tables like admin logins, like dislike, notification, orders, problem, products, registers, sliders. Moving on to the next slide. So this is basically like some data of the register table. Register is basically a user table where user can enter their credential like first name, last name, email. So basically like login credentials. Onto the next slide. So this is like a UI part of the website, which has been built after coding for like 15-20 days. So the UI is not like really perfect, but we have tried to make the base out of it. So this is the dashboard of the website, and it asks user to accept if the user is okay with cookies or not. And it will ask for the one time only when the user logins. So on to the next slide. So this is the main dashboard. We can see the main carousel over here, and this carousel is like dynamic. The admin can add dynamic images from the backend, and it will show the different images used in the user part. So underneath the main carousel part, we have a search button, and we had some issues while implementing the search because the search was a bit complex compared to other features. And underneath the search button, we can see like different product section. As of now, 2 of the product were only added, so we can just see like 2 products. On to the next slide. So this is the product detail part, and for the product detail part, what we have done is we have provided the image of the product, like full page of product. We have provided some Facebook links where the user can share the product with their loved ones. We have like and dislike button. If a user likes the item, he cannot dislike the item, and vice versa. If the user dislikes it, he cannot like it. And this video is also validated. So we have done some testing for this dislike, and we can see a user can like directly add to cart or directly proceed to checkout. And the user can also comment on underneath the item saying like providing feedbacks if the item is good or not. Also, the user can toggle the dark mode options, which is on the top right corner of the website. Moving on to the next slide. So this is basically the cart part where a user is adding an item to the cart, and the user can add one item to the cart only once. Like he cannot do it again, same item. So this is also validated, and we can see the item has been added to the cart. Moving on to the next slide. So this is the checkout page where the user can enter their credit like emailing details. So we can see address, phone number, quantity, and the every part is dynamic. Like the price is calculated on the basis of quantity the user selects. And as you can see, the order was successful, and the user got the order ID as 7264. And moving on to the next slide. So this is basically a part where the user can view the order status. If the admin has dispatched the order, the user is going to see the product is dispatched. And if the admin hasn't dispatched the product, he's going to see the same window, like not dispatched. Moving on to the next slide. So like wrapping up the development, I made use of React.js, Node.js, MongoDB, and like Express as a server. and all of the functionalities that were required all of our team members, it was achieved on the development part. And for the database development, Nirmal helped me a lot. So Nirmal is gonna explain the database development part. So I'd like to hand over the mic to Nirmal.
Thank you, Krishna. My name is Nirmal, and I'm going to explain about the further development of the application. The project is about on online shopping of the vegetables that my friend already mentioned it. And for that, we have used hugely on the JavaScript and REST API. And also we have used the React.js. And for the database development, we have used the MongoDB and NoSQL. Next one, please. So for the REST API, what is REST API? It is commonly referred to as the RESTful API. It's a web API that complies with the constraint of the REST architectural style, and it also enables the communication with the RESTful web services. When you talk about the REST API, it comes with the REST and the API, two different parts. API is a set of the definition and the protocols, and REST is the set of the architectural constraints. And also we have used the JavaScript. JavaScript is a dynamic programming language which is used for the developing various websites and for video games and all other websites. And we have used this JavaScript because so many features are there which are not provided by the HTML and the CSS. Next one, please. There are some advantages and disadvantages of the REST API. The HTTP proxy server and cache can be used to manage the happy load. That is one of the advantages of the REST API, and it is also simple to learn also, and we can exit the application making process faster. That's why we chose the REST API. And there are some disadvantages such as lack of the state, so that it will be very hard later in the client's responsibility to maintain the state of the every transaction. And it has also the problem of lack of security. Next one, please. And what is MongoDB? Why we use MongoDB? Because the developer data platform support the tools and the services required to quickly create distributed application at the performance and scale user expects. In a MongoDB database, records are referred to as the documents and fields. Fields values can be a combination of the numbers, character, Boolean, arrays, and even nested documents. So it will be easy for us to create the database. It also it is a record of the document, which is a data structure made up of the key value pairs that resembles the organization of the JSON object. So it makes it easier while going through the database development. Next one, please. And we also use for the scripting language, we use the NoSQL. NoSQL database usually referred to as the non-relational database, and it has a massive amounts of the data in real-time web application, where we can store the data. Hence, it's the fast data storage and retrieval capabilities that are made possible by the NoSQL database. It has horizontal scalability, which is efficiently facilitated by the NoSQL database. When compared to the database server of the relational database, NoSQL database are more straightforward and user-friendly. That's why we use it. Next one, please. Here we can see the app.js, and these are some coding part we have done with Krista. Next one, please. And this one is the fruit.js. This is for the database part, and the authorization.js, where we can connect the MongoDB with the database, MongoDB with our web application. And here are some coding examples of models such as admin, cart, category, product. Next one, please. And this is a route. We have used the different route. In the first one, we have used the order route. In the order route, like we have used this code. And the next one. And for the second one, we have the upload route, and third one is the notification. So we have used in our application. And this is the final UI after the development. Here we can see clearly that this is the registration page, and second is the login page, and third one is the welcome page. And now my friend will explain about the cloud security. Thank you.
Thank you, Nirmal. And it's me, Sabin Ole, and I'm going to discuss about the cloud security. Next. So cloud security is the set of policies, controls, procedures, and technologies that should be worked together to protect the cloud-based applications and systems. Can you do next slide, please? And this is the cloud computing security that can be shown in figure. Next slide. So this slide explains how cloud security works. At first, it enables data recovery in the case of data loss, and it also protects storage and network against miscellaneous data theft. And it determines error that causes the data losses, and also reduce the impact of any data or system compromise. Next slide, please. And this is the principle of cloud security. The first one is test for skills, Internet of lies, protect uniformly, inscription is tricky, limit what you can do, plan for the worst, and also attackers target the weakness. Next slide, please. And this is the cloud security challenges. The first one is logging challenges and data ownership issue, need for isolation management using Slash to obtain data security, and also handling the complications, and also data ownership issue, which has already explained. Sorry. And this is the threat to the cloud computing. And malicious insiders, malware injections, attack, online cyber theft, and wrapping attack. Next slide, please. And this slide explains the types of cloud securities: data encryption standard, advanced encryption algorithm (RSA), and DeFi human key exchange. Next slide. And the secret for our project that we are following is user privilege, that only passwords can enter or create account on the websites. And we are also using the latest versions of software and update. And we had also deployed on AWS EC2 instance, which is safe. And also the use of data inscription standard is used to make this project or applications. Next slide, please. And this is the cloud application securities, that cloud development and applications must take into the consideration service model and deployment method, release management, data sensitivity issue in cloud, and the use of RESTful versus SOP APIs. Next slide, please. And this is the pictures of the security vulnerability. And next slide, please. Now I'd like to call Safal for the remaining presentations. Thank you.
Thank you, Sobin. So as the time is short, like I'll try to brief about integration and testing that we have done in our this project. Okay, next slide. All right, so these are the test cases that we had used. So first of all, I would like to mention that initially test cases and test was initially done in like a unit part as like a user and then registration part, login part, and everything. And once everything was properly done in local machine, then we like again like we posted it on a like server, and then more test cases were used to ensure that everything was working properly. So the following are the test cases that we used in our project, and we can see like we used our home page icon if it was working properly or not, and we also tested the notification tab and the login was successful or not after using the correct credentials. Next slide, please. All right, as we can see, like there's like a different component like about notification, login, registrations, and there is another part, admin support, and we like did the test cases for each and every component. Next slide. So initially we can see here when the user had input incorrect credentials while logging in, like our web page will show like incorrect login. Next slide. And for the registration part, like we had these test cases to make sure like there was no any like backflow in while registering. So we can see like we can see that we also checked any source field functionality and every admin support field, email, complaint message, submit button, and close button, and other more test cases. Next slide, please. So after ensuring like everything is completed, then like if the user has inputted like correct user ID and correct password, then like user, it will be prompt like a user and you have been registered. Next slide. And once it is like after like the user is registered, and if the user is inputting the same user ID and password, then it will prompt the success and it will directly go to the home page of the website. And this is like our normal home page of the website, our food sort. And then
for the API testing, that we used a register test the JavaScript file to do the API testing. Next slide, please. And then for schema testing, we use this part. Next slide. And we also have demonstrated different test report, and in the test report we found that all functional tests are conducted on the application, and features designed in the applications are working as expected. Even we found some bugs. The same has been updated to the team, and we found the solution about that bug and fixed it. The login registration complaint tags are checked and with valid details and invalid details, and we found that initially, while using the invalid details to we were able to log in, but later on we figured it out, and we made it proper, and invalid details were not supposed to enter the website, and we did it. Next slide. So for the implementation part, in the test phase, we observed that the testing of the API calls went wrong in the initial state. There was a problem in the security group, and the security file, the PEM file, which was not working properly at the initial stage, but it was rectified in the future. And also a few of the UI features were not working before, but after observing and rectifying the injecting some dependencies part in the code, then it's now working fine. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the future work and evaluations, now these were our target goals initially before creating the project. So our target was to develop an application using Mon Stack, and then we had to develop the application in Amazon Web Server, and we had to make sure that the REST API was the middleware of our project, and then we had to create and test multiple test scenarios to validate the effectiveness of our program. And then our achieved goal is application is built in Mon Stack, and every targeted goals were achieved. And also we have, next slide please. Also can you, yeah, so also we have used SHA-256 right now for our algorithm. And next slide please. So this will be our future work. As we can see, we still can use some two-factor authentication and those things to make sure that the security is proper in the user interface part, and we can also enhance the security using the base encryption algorithm. We can more use the accessibility features. Initially it is HTTP instead of HTTPS, so we can use certificates and to make the website more secure. We can enhance the UI more for the administrative part, and we can also display the charts and report for profit and loss for mentioned date and time. So it can be a real life scenario where, let's say if a company wants to view how much did we sell and how much is our profit and loss, we can do that. And also currently we are not able to order the items as a guest, which can be used, and in the future we are going to try to order the items logging as a guest rather than providing all the details. Next slide please. So initially this is our project, so I would like to hand over to Utkrishta for the demo, how the UI and everything works. So he's going to share, so I'm going to hand it to Utkrishta now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sohal, and thank you, everyone. So Sohal did his analysis part, Arjun did his design part, I did my code implementation part, Nirmal did his database implementation part, and Savin assisted me in security features, adding of security feature, how the website can be made secure, and Sohal told me on how to write test cases and how to check the correctness of program. So thank you everyone for assisting to our project. And I would like to share my screen here. So I want to make it quick because the Zoom meeting has 40 minutes time limit. So let's roll out. So this is the project structure for project file. So this is basically project structure for the API. This is basically project structure for the UI part. And as you can see, So the API app server, this is hosted on the cloud and its local IP is 172.31. So for hosting, we have made use of Nginx. You can see the Nginx is up and running. And for hosting the Node.js API files like RESTful API, we have made use of one service which we have created. So the service name is run API.service. So as you can see, it loads the API. So Node.js test application. So moving on to the UI part, let me show the working demonstration of the UI part. So my screen is visible, right, guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's visible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So this is the dashboard part. This is the part I was talking about. This is like basically dynamic. The admin can add pictures from the backend and the user can view it on the front end. So this is a dynamic source var. So the item are named random. So let's source var as a. So as we can see, we can see the item are filtered. And if you want to go for the product description, we can just click on the image and it will take us to the new window. You can see the product details. Like we can like or dislike the product. We can add it to the cart. So since we have already liked the product, we cannot like it twice. We can also comment on a product. This is one here. Some random data. You can see it's commented. We can like add it to the cart. Since it is already added to the cart, it will show us this window saying we cannot add it to the cart for the same item. So we can directly proceed to checkout from here and we can enter like random details. The details should be like on the numeric format for the phone number, address format, string format for the address, and quantity it's like drop down. The max quantity we can sell for the customer is like 5. So let's check out. And the item is ordered. And as you can see, 1224 is our order ID. So let's copy it out. And this is like cart. So where you can see the items added to the cart, we can see similar product like this. We can see order history here. We can see order status here. We can see notification added by admin here. So admin can add notification like coupon codes and those things. We can see our view like details here. We can upload the details from here. And we can like toggle the dark switch button from here. So we can see it's like switching. And the other part is admin support. So if the user faces any issues with the website, you can just like type his email, let's enter some random data, let's submit. Yep, the email is the complaint is submit and the admin queue can view from their part. So let's like log in and let's go to the admin part. So in order to log in as admin, as of now, we have just like put a link here from where the admin can log in. So this is the admin credential. So this is the admin part. We can see all of the users update which have created their account on this portal. So basically there are like 5 or 6 users as of now, and we can see their other details except for the password because the password should be kept secure and the password is encrypted. Also, if the user violates any like any rules of the website, we can just delete them, delete their profile immediately from the website. And this is the part where the admin can add notification, view the notification and those sort of things like this notification. So this is the part from where the admin can update the product, like add product, delete product, update product, change image of the product and those things. So this is what I was talking about. So this is like the dynamic carousel where the admin can add images and the user can see it on their part. So these are all of the orders which the user have ordered. And if the admin is ready to dispatch the product, they can just hit and dispatch and the status will be changed to yes. So, yeah. And so these are the orders. And this is like the complaints that the user have registered. So we can see different complaints here. So this is the admin part. And for the future work, we want to enhance the admin part and we want to enhance the user part. So this is all what I had to offer. And thank you, everyone. So if there is anything anyone wants to say, please.
Nothing, we are good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christopher, for that lovely demo. All right, so we will try to wrap up now.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh,
Thank you all.